Alright, now we're going to be reviewing the applications of solving polynomials. So, our objective, students will be able to solve polynomials by factoring and non-factorable polynomials by using the quadratic. Solve polynomials by factoring and non-factorable polynomials by using the quadratic formula. So essential question is 1, how do I know if a polynomial is non-factorable? And 2, if I am asked to find the solution, what am I solving for? What are other synonyms for solutions? Synonyms for solutions. To solve a factorial polynomial like the examples above, simply set each factor equal to 0 and solve for x. However, sometimes factoring won't work, and otherwise a function is non-factorable. So we say functions is non-factorable. To solve for solutions like these, we utilize the quadratic formula. All right, so the quadratic formula is going to be x is going to be equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, and this is for a quadratic ax squared plus bx plus c. All right. Additionally, we have our I chart. So I is an imaginary number. So I is an imaginary number. And I is equal to the square root of negative 1. So I squared is equal to the square root of negative 1 squared. And so the square root of negative 1 squared is going to be negative 1. Now this intuitively does not make sense because the square root of negative 1 squared, because two negatives combined together make a positive. But however, this is going to be useful in fluid dynamics later on if you take advanced physics. So we have to evaluate using I. So I cubed is going to be the square root of negative 1 cubed. Well, the square root of negative 1 squared is negative 1. So the square root of negative 1 cubed is going to be negative 1 times I, which is the square root of negative 1. I to the fourth power is going to be I squared squared. That's going to be the square root of negative 1 squared, and then having that being squared. So that means that's going to be equal to negative 1 times negative 1, which would actually make it positive 1, which is very interesting. All right. Solutions to the quadratic formula that involve I are named complex solutions. The complex number system includes both real and imaginary numbers. All right, let's pause the video.